All the orange dungeon rares rating. Boots of Vitality. Hands down better than the previous dungeon's boots. It's also a roguelike upgradable, and not only that, it gives really good survivability stats, despite it only having Prot 1. They kinda look like hippie AirPods though. Never mind, maybe Christmas boots, but when you upgrade it in roguelike, it looks more pink with Doritos on top. 7 out of 10 early mid-game. Cultist Robe, again, better than the previous dungeon's chestplate. It actually gives armor and another heart for survivability. The mending's huge because you wouldn't have to repair this as much as you'd repair non-mending items like the Boots of Vitality. I guess the only downside about this is that it wouldn't be used as much later on in the game, disregarding the fact that you can use this as a material for the best in slot speed chestplate, the Cobaltian Cave, which can be obtained by going to some dude with a slab on his head and trading him the Cultist Robe and a potion of masterful agility, which is tradable in High Watch to a dude in the tower with alchemists. But in order to do so, you have to obtain a potion of agility, which is buyable in the alchemist building in Sierra Haven through the head alchemist. Oh, and Prot 1 exists. Yay. 7 out of 10 early mid game. Wild Thrasher. A stone sword is better than a wooden sword. The Wild Thrasher has more damage than the Ash Heart. Also, it's way more durable than the previous dungeon sword. It may have lesser fire aspect than the Ash Heart dagger, but its damage and durability makes up for the lack of that. I don't know why most of the rares in this dungeon look like candy, but that's up to the RP artists to judge. 6 out of 10 early mid game sword. The Ravager. One of two rare axes you'll encounter in early game, and this one is very good for the warrior class. This one is also roguelike enhanceable to the Annihilator, which is one of the best axes for warrior in region 1. The knockback 2 is kinda big though, since you kinda just can yeet mobs off a cliff. 9 out of 10 early late game axe. Arachnobane. The other one of the two rare axes you'll encounter in early game. This axe provides really good damage against arthropods. It's literally in the enchants. Plus, it has a good amount of damage. If you don't obtain the previous axe, then it's more likely that you'll get this one. Keep this if you're a warrior class. 7 out of 10 early mid game axe. Bone Piercer. For some reason, somebody in the development team thought that a blow dart would be a logical thing to add as a rare item in a dungeon full of failed experiments. Makes sense, I guess. While it may not have mending, it lights mobs on fire and also pushes them back. Although it does have less damage than the previous dungeon's bow. Oh, and also, this is a material for a patron item in the game called Polar Wind, which is tradable through some sage dude near the hot springs of the hidden town to Eldin. 7 out of 10 early game bow. Shapeshifter's Wand. This is literally the first magic wand you'll be introduced to into the game, and it's actually best in slot for main hand and speed. Sure, it may have only 35% spell power, but for a wand that you can spam click for damage, hold for speed, and use to get more health in the offhand, it makes up for the lacking spell power. Although it does look like the Bone Piercer just grew some legs. It does kind of look like a Thin Guitar's headstock though, but you know, it's still good. Also, KB is fun. You can yeet and yeet and yeet over and over and over again. 6 out of 10 wand. Purified Claw. This might as well be the worst rare in orange, but not the worst rare in region 1. While it is an offhand for melee classes and scouts, the +2 armor points help out even for mage that has arcane strike for their spells. 4 out of 10 offhand item. In terms of rares for this dungeon, I think the step up from white to orange is well executed by the leads and the devs, and I actually think that this may help motivate more players in early game to progress further through the storyline. And sort of like the last dungeon, all of the rares have a variety of usage for specific classes, or in general, every player. I guess the only orange rares you wouldn't drop after Magenta is the Ravager or Boots of Vitality, due to both being upgradable in Rogue. Bye bye.